So the presentation for today is about stories. It's about the 3 stories every solopreneur needs. So how to build trust, connection, and sales without feeling salesy. And that's much of the point with stories because you're telling a story, you're not really selling. So it's a much bigger, better way to sell and use stories because people will connect with you in a different way and don't feel like they're reading a pitch and want, "Oh, I want this. She's just trying to sell me something." You're connecting with them on a different level. So you don't need to be a master copywriter to stand out. You just need the right stories told in the right way at the right time. Today, we're diving into the 3 story types every solopreneur should be using to build a magnetic brand. So, what you'll learn today is why stories matter more than ever, the 3 stories that build connection and sales, and where to use each one, and how you should shape your signature story set. Why stories work so well. Stories stick because they trigger emotion, not just logic. Your audience may not remember a list of bullet points or features or functions, but they'll remember a small story that made them think this person gets me. That's why stories build trust. They help your dream clients feel seen, heard, and emotionally connected before you ever pitch them anything. Stories, they activate more of the brain than facts. They create deeper neural connections that last longer and create an emotional connection. They make your brand feel human and memorable, and they build connection, not just comprehension. So your signature story set. It's through these 3 stories together to build trust, show you value, and make people feel something about your brand. We'll walk through each one of these and where to use it, whether you're writing a website, going live, or posting on Instagram. So you have the origin story, why you do what you do. You have the transformation story, why it works for others. And you have micro story or micro stories, I would say, because you have many of those. So why they should relate to you or how they would relate to you. So we'll go into each of these stories and take a closer look. So the origin story, this one, it shares your mission and your motivation, reveals your deeper purpose, and connects to your audience's values. Why did you start your business? And what are you doing? Who are you helping? Where are you going? And what was the moment that you decided that you needed to do this? Builds trust and credibility, shows why you're qualified through your experience and not just credentials. And it creates relatability with the others, makes you human and approachable to your ideal clients. They will relate to you. It shows people you've got a reason for doing this that goes deeper than just making money. It creates the moment of, oh, wow, this is personal for them. Even if your audience hasn't lived your exact experience, they will connect to your intention. And the next story is the transformation story. This story shows your work in action, demonstrates real results through client success stories. It makes your method tangible, reveals your unique approach and why it works, and it creates self-identification. It helps people see themselves in the story. So you show your impact of your work, not just by explaining your process, but by sharing the outcome. It could be a full client success story, a before and after, or a powerful shift someone experienced. Use it wherever you need proof, transformation, or inspiration, not just in testimonials, but in conversations, in via live presentations, or even as a content hook. And of course, in emails, and you can have blogs and videos. So there are a lot of good places because transformation stories and testimonials, they are really showing people that this has worked for somebody else. So it's a huge trust builder. So testimonial, very, very important. But as I'm saying here, the transformation story is not only just testimonial. You can use them in many different ways that you write. It doesn't have to be a testimonial directly from your client, but you can tell the story from your side and use it as a case story or just like elements in an email or in a post. But it wherever you can put it in, it's very good to build trust. And the last story type, the micro stories. So these are built on something you experienced or something you saw or you believe or you are inspired by. It could be anything. It could be something from your childhood, could be something your dog did, something you ate, something, whatever experience could be a story. And this is for building connection, creating consistent touch points that resonate with your audience daily, reinforces your values, shows what you stand for through everyday moments and observations. And also it humanizes your brand, which is very important. You're sharing from your heart, from you, and you're letting people get to know you, and they will relate to you so much more if you share your stories. Make you relatable through small, authentic moments that matter. So these are like the little everyday stories, a behind the scenes moment, a personal realization, a lesson learned, or a value in action. They're short, relatable, and repeatable, and they keep your brand feeling alive and real without always selling. And that's important to get them closer to you and not always just buy from me. This is what I'm selling you. Then you're only like that person that always tried to sell you something, and they're not going to listen if they think that you're just selling. But if you are sharing a story, they will listen much more closely. So these stories will help people feel like they know you. And you don't need to be a storyteller. There's no drama required. Your stories don't need to be dramatic or extraordinary. Simple truth resonates more than manufactured excitement. So it can be the tiniest little things that can be used to be a bigger thing. So focus on the structure. Good stories need clarity and organization more than flair. A clear framework makes storytelling accessible to everyone. And you can reuse and recycle, for all these moments in your life, and also reuse them all over the platforms and use them in emails and posts and all over. Use stories everywhere because they are so effectful. So you can develop your core stories once, then adapt them across platforms. They can be different. Like the origin story is, you can have several origin stories, but you usually have one main one. And that's the one you keep on telling. And I have mine that I tell for why am I here right now? And you should have one, I was like thinking stories. I don't have like a rags to riches story or something very important or anything. It doesn't have to be. But the one that you repeat on telling, or which is, if it means something to you, it'll go across and mean something for others as well. Because your stories, it's not about perfection, they're about connection. And once you shape them, you'll use them over and over again, and on your site, in your content, in conversation. And that's when storytelling becomes strategy. So the origin story doesn't change too much, even though you can have maybe a few, but you can tell it in different ways. And transformations would be different maybe from different people because they're looking for different things. So you can have different types of transformation, but your main offer usually represents one specific outcome or transformation, but people will experience it differently because they are different, right? The micro stories, they are totally different. They can be from anything. And these are like something that you use from something that happened this morning. I lost my coffee cup in the floor today. What does that mean? And what kind of story can I get from that? So this is your strategic story system in view here. You have like I was talking about, so I'll just go quickly through this. Origin story builds trust and connection. And the transformation story makes your value visible. And the micro stories keeps you relatable and consistent. So that's something that you will use all the time. And it will be different all the time because you can't keep on telling the same micro story all the time. Those have to change a little bit. And you're going to rotate these stories across your content and platforms for maximum impact. Each serves a distinct purpose in your marketing and in your marketing ecosystem. And where to use these stories. You can use it on your website, on specifically like about pages is a good place to have your origin story. But that origin story can come across a lot of places, like the sales pages, launches. You want them to know what is your why? Why are you doing this? It's not just like a product for sale. It's actually with reason. It's with purpose. In your offers, email and DMs, and in all kinds of content, social posts, reels, videos, and podcast interviews, and wherever you're having content. But think beyond the about me. Use your stories everywhere to create consistent content. Okay, and why this can feel hard. And I've been there. I'll tell you a little bit about that. Do I even have a story worth sharing? This feels very familiar to me. Your journey matters, even if it seems ordinary to you. Mine isn't dramatic enough. And I said that, right? Authentic resonates more than dramatic. Realness beats spectacle. We've seen like all these rags to riches stories, like somebody that was dead poor and I had like $3 in my account, but then I did this that made me all of a sudden a millionaire. So I don't have that story, and I think that's not important either to have that kind of story. But we do have some moments of transformation, something that changes, or we succeed at something, and why is it this working for me? Then it can also work for you, and because a lot of us, we're actually experiencing whatever we're also selling because that's what we know, and we made it work for ourselves, right? And then we want to help somebody else do the same. I never know what to say or where to start. Templates and frameworks make it simpler than you think. I don't want to sound fake. That's exactly where I was too. Your concern shows you'll do it right. Okay, so let me be honest. I've known for years that storytelling works in business, and I've had that in the back of my head for so long. And my biggest issue has been like writing emails, and I always wanted to write emails with stories in them. But I was like, "Oh, how do I do that? I don't have anything to share. What happened today, or in social posts, or wherever." So where do I start? I was overwhelmed, so I avoided it. I just kind of then it wasn't any emails, or at least there were just very boring emails. But that changed when AI came into the picture, because this was something that I was struggling with, and I saw the need for is apps that are going to help me tell stories and how to use stories. I have a big plan for this. There's only one that's live yet, but there's a plan behind all of this. I'll tell you all about it. Yeah, so I know that if I'm struggling with it, I'm sure there are more people that are struggling with this. I think this is going to be super useful with these tools that I have in store for you guys. So let's go further. All right, so here is a little bit about the app. So this one, Origin App, that's live already, and these two other ones are in the planning. So this one covers the 3 stories that I have gone through today. So the Origin App is about your origin story, shapes your origin story, and connects with the deeper why behind your business. But this one is live already. And next is a transformational story. So this is an offer up, and I have a lot of offer ups in the loop, but this is a part of the offer up category, and this one's coming. This one takes it a little farther. It's not just a transformational story, but it does clarify the outcome, the before and after transformation, but also will build you a transformational story. And since I haven't built it yet, I'm not totally sure about the details, but that's the plan for it. And the third one are for micro stories. So stories spark up. And this is a content, because this is going to help you make content. And this one's also coming. And this one's going to uncover relatable moments that build trust and personality in your content. So it's going to be a lot of questions in there, but it's not necessary for you to answer all of them. You just pick the one that kind of stands out to you and what you want to share, but it's there to jog your brain to think of a story or what happened this morning or whatever. So you can just take the one that kind of speaks to you, and then it will give you story ideas from whatever. You can fill out more than one. You can fill out as much as you want, but it is enough if you only want to fill out one. It will give you story ideas and angles. So it will give you like the hooks and the story idea. So then you can bring it further. Then you pick the idea you want, and then you can just bring it to Cody or to the apps for the content that you're building. If you're building an email, you'll bring it to Emmy to help you write that. Or you can actually go into the email app that's there already. But I'm going to build more email apps, so they are coming. Or you can go to a post app, make a social post. You can go to blog app, make a blog article about it. Or you go to the app that's going to help you with the content that you are looking to make. You bring the idea that stands out to you, and then you go and build that content with another app. So you have all the help you need. But I felt that this story is so important. I felt that it was really important to have those kinds of apps, specifically since that's something I've been struggling with, because then you get so many good stories and you don't really know that you have a lot there. So it's really going to help you. These three are the foundation of story-driven business communication, and now you can shape them in a way that finally feels doable for you as well, once I get them all up there. But you can start with your origin story. They're all coming. So like I was saying, there's no drama required. You don't have to have this rags to riches story or any dramatic story to make a difference. It's about authenticity that matters a lot more than excitement, even though excitement is, of course, cool to aim for as well. But authenticity and creating that connection and creating it relatable for the ones that you are talking to. The right story, the right moments, share stories with clarity and purpose. Each has its place in your business, and let stories do some of that hard work. Your origin, transformation, and micro stories can do the heavy lifting in your marketing. Okay, and then we come to future apps. So also from the story side, I have something that I'm calling the Story Vault Up. This is a file, but it's going to be a very useful file. It's going to generate stuff for you, but it's going to be a lot of questions. So this is something you do once, but there's going to be tons of questions in there and that you can fill out, and they're all going to be optional. So you choose to answer the ones that you want, but the more you answer, the more ideas you're going to get, because this Genius Story Vault file is going to give you ideas from different types of angles, like humor, like inspiration. So different types of ideas for each type of question you answer, or they can mix it together as well, the answers that you have, because the AI is going to see the whole picture of everything you're answering, but I think it will answer for each question or all the ideas. It's going to be like this, that you can just open up and look, okay, I need a story for today. And it's all built on your experience from a lifetime. And all these questions, when they're answered, you're going to get hundreds of ideas in that vault. So either you can go into that document and get an idea yourself and just, oh, this is a good idea. I want to use this one that works perfectly with the content that I'm planning to do today. Bring it to the app that's going to build the content for you. Or if you don't really know what idea to use, or you don't feel like going through that document, you can just upload that document to the app. Please find a story that matches very well with the goal, because then you'll fill out like, what is the goal of the content that you're doing and what am I trying to do here? and what is the call to action and those stuff that you fill out in the apps. But then you just upload that, and then it'll take an idea from there. And then that could be a huge surprise. You don't know which idea. So that's kind of exciting too. I think this one's going to be, I'm very excited about this one because I think it's going to be such a huge help, because then you don't have to answer like, I couldn't have one that you have to answer all these ideas every time. But if you make this document and you take the time and answer all these questions once, then you actually have that document. And it's going to give you loads of ideas on just one answer. So in different direction, it can take that answer that you gave, and it can take that to be lots of different ideas. So this is very exciting. I really think this is going to be very cool. So then you have easy access. You can pull the right story at the right time, never struggle with what to share again. And you're going to get these smart suggestions and get recommendations for which stories to use based on your goals and the platform. Like I talked to, you can upload that document. I'm very excited about this one. And I also wanted to just show you a little bit about also what's planned in the offer apps. So there's the Irresistible Offer app. So that is the one that's going to help you build irresistible offer, your main offer or medium offers or low ticket offer, different types of offers, but maybe mainly your main service to kind of build it out totally irresistible with all the elements and everything that it needs. So that's where you'd go when you want to build that main offer. But if you have your main service already built out, then you might want to have some extra offers that you want to offer in addition to that. And then in my strategy, I recommend on using a low ticket offer as a magnetic offer, magnetic micro offer, like a front end offer, which you invite people in for a very small amount and huge value. So people get the chance to actually get to know you, what you stand for, and what a great job you do, so they can trust you more and be willing to pay more money with you later, because they're not going to go straight to your high ticket offer. That happens very rarely without them knowing, liking, and trusting you. And Transform Up is the one that I was talking about. That will take a look at that transformational outcome that will give your clients. This is also give transformational stories. Price Up, it's in the planning here. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to set that up, but I feel like it's important to have there, because I know a lot of solopreneurs really struggle with price, but it might be hard to have an app for it because it really depends. But I might think that maybe it's more useful to actually discuss that with a Genius assistant, because it's hard to give like a final answer for that exactly. So I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be there, but I'll see what I can do about that. But Boost Ups is definitely going to be that. That's going to be adding persuasive elements that enhance conversion. So if you have an offer, you could put it in there. What could I add to this to give it some persuasive elements? And that doesn't mean like an element in your offer, but it can be in the messaging. So it can be urgency, it can be bonuses. That's some parts that you can add to it. But it's also a lot about the messaging and how you should represent your offer. Then there's the offer stack up. This one's already there. This one helps you come up with a lot of ideas for complementary products or services that you can offer in addition to your main offer, in your total product suite, so to speak. And it'll give you a lot of ideas. And there's also a lead magnet up, which are like freebies, and you can create the free opt-ins and to feed your marketing ecosystem.